I'd like to call the meeting to order. And before we start, I have a moment of silence for the people that are involved in the past two hurricanes. So we take a minute of silence. I appreciate that.
John, can you speak up?
I'd like to take...
That's not gonna...
At this time, I'd like to take a moment of silence for the people that are involved in the past two hurricanes.
Oh,
So 1 minute of silence, please, before we start our meeting.
thank you. Very good.
Thank you. My mother and sister are down there. We still haven't heard from them.
They okay?
Haven't heard.
Really?
No.
Whereabouts?
Where are they? They're in Florida. Where are they?
They're in Hollandale, but they were trying to move out, but everybody tried to rush. The banks closed early. No money. Gas stations had no gas, and that's the last I heard. And the towers went down near Hams. So my sister has bad cancer. My mother is very ill. So
Oh, minutes?
we review the minutes. Is there anything now?
We have the July minutes and the August minutes.
Oh, no, I have some questions. I'd like to move to make an amendment to the July minutes. The section about commission election discussion, I have copies for everyone.
I'm sorry, what?
The commission election discussion section of the July 12th minutes,
Okay.
I'd like to amend it, and I will give to each of you a copy of what I've written. And I would move to, I might not say this the right way, move to substitute this paragraph for the paragraph that Elaine wrote under commission election discussion, 712, 2015. I mean, 2017, I'm sorry.
Problem with the agenda for the few months. It should have been resolved soon. It really wasn't on the prior agendas.
Yes,
Well, the discussion was on the prior agenda.
Discussion, yes.
Just a discussion, not a vote.
it was.
No, it was not a vote.
It was commission election discussion.
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 Right.
It was not a vote.
Right, but that's
Right,
what
that's
was
what we
stated
said.
here.
That's what I said. If you read it.
John, that's what's stated here.
Agenda for a few months. It should be resolved soon. That's what I'm talking about. And at that same time discussion, it was said that we're going to wait till the people are appointed, and we usually wait till after they're appointed, and that usually starts in July. And when you sent me something in the mail, the minutes you used said that people were given positions in October. So that kind of backs up how the whole thing goes.
I don't know that this is totally different from what is here, and I think that the specifics regarding Michelle's qualifications, I did not include them in the minutes, and I didn't think that was appropriate, because we try to keep them as generic as possible.
Well, I was just writing this because, in fact, you brought the issue up, so I wanted to put it in there. So I will call the question. I don't know the right rules of order. I would like people to vote on this so we can put this in the minutes for 7/12/2017, not minutes that are currently written.
I would
not.
I would not vote for this.
Because it would open the whole thing back up again. And the thing is still open until, according to this, till October 10th. I just, you
Oh,
know,
you mean the open meeting? Is that what you're referencing?
yeah, this could be up to that, yeah.
This is July.
This is
This
July.
This is
meeting.
July, this wasn't on, this was the prior month. We didn't,
It's not a-
So this doesn't have
Nothing to do with October.
we're not even in October.
August.
So Elaine, just one clarification. I'm abstaining because I wasn't a member.
Right,
I can't
right.
go out there. Just make sure we just note that.
Well, you didn't abstain, I didn't count you as a member.
When the vote is taken. When the vote, for the
Oh, for
acceptance
this
of
part, okay, okay, all right.
To conditionally accept the minutes
So we
Okay.
need a motion.
with these changes.
That was your motion.
Okay.
So just-
So there's a motion to conditionally accept these minutes with these
Substitute
changes.
the minutes.
What do you get in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order? Have you
I'm
studied it?
sorry, excuse me?
It starts off in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order. Where did you get that from?
Oh, because Elaine had given us a copy of Robert's Rules of Order with the agenda and the, she'd given us a copy. And that's how-
With the agenda and the different ways that
Right,
could be
you-
voted.
yes.
That was supposed to help with the discussion.
Right, you gave it to us. So if you gave it to us, we can use it. And plus, we know
But
we
you didn't
haven't-
use it.
But we didn't discuss it,
You just went in, and that was the problem, where it started.
and that was the issue.
No, that wasn't the issue.
Yes, it was,
She
from our
made it
point of view, it was.
From your point of view, I realize that.
From my point too.
Thank you.
Because we're supposed to start on that, what choices we're gonna do, and you didn't even let it go. So I can't, there's a definitely no on me. Because this starts everything down the road.
Well, we're still taking we're doing a revote today.
Yes.
So this is basically just to accept this change to the minutes.
Right.
Which I agree to.
Right.
So
Do we call a vote?
there's a motion. It needs to be seconded.
Oh, I'll second the motion.
What is the motion?
Motion to conditionally accept the minutes from July with these changes under,
Commission on.
is that G on there?
Yes.
I.
Aye. No,
So that's what the motion is.
that's my vote is
Oh,
no.
okay. I'm sorry.
My vote is no. Any more discussion?
Well,
All in
do we need to
favor?
conduct a full vote, John?
I asked, I voted no. You voted no.
I voted, but
Yes.
I voted yes.
Okay, so it's 3 yes, no.
Wait.
Any more discussion? I have more discussion because I wanted pointed in the notes, if you're going to add this, that the Robert's Rules of Order that starts this comment was never looked at and reviewed.
I looked at it.
But that's because,
prior to the
yeah,
meeting.
and that's
It
where,
was given to all of us to
We
review.
all,
I
yeah.
didn't know when reviewed it, she went right into the motion and like
It was,
that.
it was a nomination from the floor, which is part of Robert's Rules of Order. I brought, I printed out a copy for the meeting, so we did review it.
so, Jeff, you're abstaining for this vote, okay?
Yeah. Can't even discuss it.
And I'm thinking Linda will abstain as well. We're not always like this. Sometimes.
So, actually, a majority.
Right, so the motion
So,
passes.
There's no majority, there's so many people in two sisters thing.
John, are you abstaining or?
No, I voted no.
Okay.
She voted no.
Right here, there are, how many people?
Huh? I'm sorry, I can't
There
hear
are
very
7
well. It's
people.
the cold.
3 said no, 2 said no, 3 said yes. But we
And
need,
2 abstained.
the agenda is
And 2 abstained.
To abstain.
The agenda is what?
7.
Right.
What?
But there's 2 abstaining because they,
He's concerned about the majority, whether or not 3 in favor, 2 no, and 2 abstentions makes
The 7 we need
makes a
4.
passing
All
vote.
right,
we need 4.
Right now,
We need
as
4.
of today, we need 4 as a majority.
Doesn't
That-
carry.
But
No.
but you people can abstain and then you go with the majority of the voting members. Linda
Right,
wasn't
it's the
even
majority of
here.
the
She
people that-
obviously
That's
isn't
what I
able
said.
to, she obviously can't.
that's what I
vote.
said.
Elaine, it's the people who are here that can actually comment and actually vote on it. So John McLaughlin, make sure I'm looking at the right one.
That's all.
That's this one.
Can I have my
Sorry.
minutes? Thanks.
'Cause I wasn't paying attention because of it. So it's John McLaughlin can vote, Athena can vote, Michelle can vote, Elaine can vote, Megan can vote. I can't vote because I wasn't sworn in.
Right.
And Linda
And I
can't
was
vote
not there.
because she wasn't here. So you need a majority of the members that were present to actually vote
So
on accepting the
can
minutes.
Michelle vote on this one?
Yes, because she was present at that meeting.
Okay, so it's 3-2.
Yes.
Okay,
This was
and that's what carries it, John.
Yep.
All right,
I also had in my thing saying that it wasn't discussed. As
I got
long-
that, I got
As long as
that.
that's in the saying it was not discussed.
The-
Robert's Rules of Order was not discussed. She started off in accordance with Robert Order was not discussed. It was passed out, and it went right into that stuff. That's why he said it's a discussion first. Okay?
Okay. I will revise the minutes and send them back out, but I will add that it wasn't discussed, so.
I don't think there's any need to add that.
Yes, there is.
That you're
That was why
not.
you said you had an order.
I think there is a need to add that, and so does John.
Okay.
And the
That's
chair-
two. That's two. What about the rest of the members? In reality, if you're going to add something to it, and that's
I'm
an
gonna,
amendment,
but who wrote the minutes?
But what we
Who
voted
is
on was what
responsible
is
for writing the
reflected
minutes?
here.
not to get too much into the weeds, but what was just voted on was what's in front of everybody here. So that's been accepted. John's making an amendment to it, so we should make a motion to amend it to appropriately address what he wants to address.
And I was trying to make that amendment before the vote came in, and you did anyway, and I gave it a
I didn't
second.
do
We
anything. It's the first
can
one.
make an
It's the second
amendment if you
one.
want to do another vote.
Right. You need to make a motion then, John.
When she made a motion to accept this, I said, no, why don't you make this amendment, because Robert Rules of Order wasn't covered and I wasn't heard. And then you made a vote, and I put it back up. I want to amend it saying that Robert Rules of Order, since it's in this comment, saying reviewed, it was not reviewed.
So
It was not
John's
reviewed.
making a motion to amend this to reflect that Robert's Rules of Order
that she's
was
talking about
not.
here was never reviewed or mentioned.
I would vote no to that.
Well, it's a second first.
It's gonna be voted no.
That's fine.
You
Let's just
second
vote
it.
anyway.
Are you going to second it?
Am I gonna say, I'll second it, but we're gonna get, it's gonna be 3-2, and goodbye.
But that's second.
Huh?
You never second.
What?
You seconded my thing, or?
I seconded your motion. Yeah. But it's gonna be 3-2 against us, so
That's fine.
the coup has been successful.
And I vote no.
Yeah,
So 3-2.
right.
Can I also just remind people to be respectful?
Pardon?
Remind people to be respectful. Really talk. This
Is
is a,
that my role? As a secretary?
I don't know, it should be
As a
John's role
person.
actually to do it right now.
Who was
someone
not
vote?
respectful?
Can someone open
Yeah,
the
we
door,
can
raise the air conditioning just a little?
Yeah, we can
It's a
shut
little
it
cold.
off. It took the bite off.
Thank you.
So it's just right.
Can I see the minutes?
Visualize.
Oh my God. She changed the lines.
So what are we in now? Are we still on the July minutes?
We're still on the minutes.
Or August.
That was the July minutes. Is there anything else with the July minutes that needs to be discussed?
No.
Okay, what about the August minutes?
Madame Majority.
Wait a minute. Okay,
The only thing that and with July that I saw that was nothing major, but just said for the time it said 7:30:03. So I mean just
okay. That was the August one?
She's just really
That was
specific.
July. Oh,
You're just
yeah.
really specific about the
Right,
time.
I know.
So
So
7:33
seconds.
and 03 seconds.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll fix that.
3E.
What's that?
From July was 3E.
3E,
Yeah.
hosting a forum?
That was the,
Oh, from July.
Yeah. And 3G.
The 3E was Countryway and Total Road Trail and
we wanted to talk about the hosting a forum and the commission election discussion. That was in July. I thought we were done with July.
Yeah, all except 3E, that's a Countryway thing, and 3G would be Council of Aging. Doesn't correspond with it.
What?
All right.
that's,
Look again. He's looking at August.
Well,
that's
Looking at
August.
August. Minutes.
This is July.
They're still working on July. So ultimately, you guys could vote to accept the minutes with the proposed changes. So
Are we,
that way you
we're
can move
back
them
to
forward.
July?
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking that if you want for
It's not-
speed,
yeah. No, it's
since the changes will be made,
Yeah.
the commission can vote to accept them contingent on the changes.
Right.
Therefore, you can just make the changes and publish them.
Okay.
And then if they need to
All right,
change, if there's
that's
some
fine. Okay.
discrepancy, then it can be fixed later. But at least we'll get the minutes up on the website and stuff like that.
Right.
And
So-
just save another vote from another month.
So I move to accept the July 12th minutes with the changes of the commission election discussion that I just drafted in to replace what was there for the commission election discussion. Is that, I moved to do that.
A second?
All in favor?
You seconded?
Aye.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I seconded.
You did?
How many in favor?
Aye.
How many opposed?
And we're abstaining.
Huh?
We're abstaining.
So 3 and 4, 3 and 2 abstaining. Okay. What about August minutes?
On August.
So now we can move on.
So August, so. Does anyone, I have a couple, a set revision. I don't know if,
Can I just do two small ones? One being under section 3E. And it might just be me, but I was trying to figure out, we'll also be adding information relating to a century. Can we use a different word? I'm just not sure what you meant.
I'm sorry.
Under
Must be
3,
affecting my hearing.
under 3E,
3E, hosting a forum.
yep, the last sentence. It says century. Can I just ask you for clarification on
I
century?
don't know what that had to do with, but it was in my my notes.
Is it,
So I thought I should add it.
yeah, no, and I just couldn't
Sounds
figure out.
important.
Is that scent
Oh,
free?
scent free.
Scent free.
Scent
Oh.
free.
Huh?
Scent free, as in perfume.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
I thought you meant a sentry, like a ride or something.
And I've been asked to clarify that again from people in the public. Based on
Century.
century, it comes down to certain issues happen. Some people are allergic to certain scents, other scents, people are traumatized, they have relationship to that scent, like maybe their mother passed away and that was their perfume, or if they were assaulted and that was the scent they had. So it's an all or nothing kind of thing. And we recommend that you do shower, just rinse off completely, and then come to the event. That makes it a disability event. That's what scent-free means.
Right, and we put that on.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Right.
And the only other thing I had was on 3G, the next one,
Yeah.
the part where motion based on alleged violations of open meeting law, we negate last month's 7/12 election and add, quote, election of officers to next month's agenda. It did, the sentence there kind of broke a little bit, and you just might have changed thoughts, like mid-typing, but it was election and add, because what it reads now is election and add to next month's agenda along with description or roles of responsibilities of the offices. So we just need to, right after 7/12, election, and add, quote, election of officers to next month's agenda along with the description or roles and responsibilities of the offices. Just because that's,
Okay.
so I guess that would be, well, no, we can, so those two changes, and anybody else have changes, then we can all be one motion to accept the changes.
To accept conditionally, yeah.
Yeah, so if people have other things.
So did you make a motion?
No, we'll do that at the end. So we're just recommending the change, which I think is
Okay.
probably the better,
Okay.
or a better way to do it, so.
Okay, so I've given you a sheet. I have a revision to the revised assessment form for accessibility and functional needs. You didn't put that in the minutes, and we discussed whether or not we needed to have gender on this form. And then Jeff, I don't know if you all remember, Jeff agreed to research this issue and share the information with you and me, Elaine. And then we said we'd incorporate this information into the assessment after reaching out to Murphy's office. And that was...
It was definitely in there. I did not include that specific discussion.
Okay. Well, I just...
I know,
because-
we definitely discussed it, but I was trying to keep this as generic as possible.
Okay.
Because every time we review this form, we change something.
Well,
So-
I think that's why we needed to explain why we always have to do that, because
But
there's always
there was
something-
more change this time than just the gender thing, so.
Right, I understand that. So I would just move to, I don't know if you want to, just to revise it. I don't know if you have to add, however.
I have to add, because I don't have
Incorporate this.
anything in here really relating to,
Okay,
form.
incorporate that into the section there. That-
so add something about that, because the motion was made at the meeting to only discuss E and G.
Yes.
Right, but I'm just,
It ended the meeting after that.
but we had to go through, we're trying to basically explain why it's taking us so long to get this form ready for Chief Murphy. And we keep having to go back and back and back.
Right.
And so
But we weren't even scheduled to discuss it, so.
the form?
Right, E and G was already, the motion had been made by Jeff and approved to only discuss E and G.
It was only to discuss the forum and the flyer and that form,
Right.
because those were the time-sensitive items.
Right,
So,
it
but
was
it was that
added on
form.
afterwards, it was not part of,
Well, that
But you wanted to add
that
it
being
to the
said,
minute.
I think we talked about it at the meeting, and I think that should be in the minutes. So that when the chief's office says, why is it taking you 7 months to get this form, we can explain we had all these these issues we had to research before we could put something together.
but I just don't think it needs to be in the minutes.
We'll
But,
discuss.
I mean, I think we can explain that the way you just explained it. But
Well, I prefer it in writing.
I don't know that adding that on this particular date is going to help, because we did this, we've had numerous times to go back and review and redo and what have you, and we didn't
But
include
gender never
those.
came up
Yeah,
before.
This is a very specific thing that did come up that Jeff said he was going to look into, that
Well, we did have that, we discussed it, but we didn't put it in the minutes, because John raised the issue as to whether or not we should say trans or...
John Jr.
But actually, all we had originally was
we
male
weren't
and
really
female.
sure. Right, we weren't really sure. So Jeff was going to look into it.
Right.
And we're just saying, or I think what Athena's saying is to just reflect that in the minutes.
I have no problem adding it to the minutes. That's, it's just, yeah, I can do
Motion to
that.
do that? Okay.
I think we're going to get all the changes and then do them.
Thank you. And then the other one, hosting a forum. I just wanted to add this, just because I don't have the minutes you gave us, August 9th. Oh, the whole, I took out the Council on Aging, Linda Hayes reference, there was no need for that. Because
Why?
Why?
Because.
That was something that was brought to my attention,
I
prior to the
understand,
meeting.
but we already have her on the list, so.
but she's not ready to do that until we meet.
Part of a commission is to advise and help other committees and so on, and municipalities and companies and organizations. So you have to include them. That's part of what we're
That's not
supposed
what
to
you're
do.
saying.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying,
You kinda wanna
this is
help.
what we did for hosting a forum. This is what we talked about. And I took out
And
the
I have
same
most of that in there, I just don't have the thing, you don't have the thing about Linda Hayes.
Right, that's right.
But that's something that we discussed.
My recollection was that was discussed before the meeting even started, that you two
Right.
talked about.
Right. I think so.
That's not my recollection.
That's fine.
Either way, yeah, I don't-
It doesn't
That's
matter.
fine.
It's semantics.
So,
So I withdraw that. Thank
See
you.
what you're thinking.
I withdraw
All
it.
right. So motion, unless other people have other
But
changes
if you
to it.
take off the word century.
Well,
I did,
was gonna-
Sanford.
Yeah, just Sanford.
You know,
Yeah,
thank
no, it's
you.
just-
Yeah.
I'm not sure if there's any other comments, because otherwise I'll just
No,
need
that's fine. Just withdraw, just take out my amendment for E hosting.
So I'll make a motion to accept the August 9th minutes with, on contingent on the changes that have been made.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? And unanimous carries.
One abstain.
Unanimous? Was that?
Okay?
Yeah, I wasn't
You're
here.
going to abstain, so yeah, that's fine. Was it otherwise, other than the abstention, is it unanimous?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
Just need to find the agenda again. No, it's fine. I know I have it. It's just a matter of
Because
finding
everybody
it.
starts looking at
Right. No, it's the 913, which is the 913. All right, so 1 and 2 is done. That was...
Ready to go to item 3?
We're good. Next agenda item is the introduction of the members.
All right. You're up.
That's me.
Please introduce yourself.
Linda Fulton, excited to be here and be duly appointed. I have been spending time moving through the wealth of materials I received from the clerk's office and look forward to working with you all, hearing a little bit more about the mission from your point of view of the commission and the roles and responsibilities.
Your background, are you a nurse? Are you?
No, I have a business background. I ran a small benefits administration firm for about 22 years and retired when that company sold to a large West Coast company. But my role, the last role I had was Vice President of Business and Operations. So I have an operations background.
Okay.
That's what we need. Well, welcome.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Have you been in Scituate a long time?
I have. I grew up here, summers.
Okay, that's a long time.
Yeah, long time. And we bought a house here permanently. We sold our year-round home and moved to Scituate permanently a couple of years ago.
Awesome, awesome. It's a beautiful town.
Lucky to be here, yes.
All right, so the commission disabilities, the duties. This is right from the governor's office, what our duties are supposed to be. The commission disabilities strives to cause the full integration and participation of people with disabilities in the town of Scituate. The role of the commission on disabilities to, 1, research local problems of people with disabilities. 2nd, advise and assist municipality officers and employees in ensuring compliance with state and federal laws and regulations that affect people with disabilities. 3rd, coordinate to carry out programs designed to meet the problems of people with disabilities in consideration with programs of the Massachusetts Office of Disabilities. Jeff's a director of that, and he has training came from that. Review and make recommendations about policies, procedures, services, activities, and facilities of departments, boards, and agencies of the town of Scituate as they affect people with disabilities. Provide information, referrals, guidance, and technical assistance to individuals, public agencies, businesses, and organizations in all matters pertaining to disabilities, and to coordinate activities of other local groups organized for similar purposes. And that's what we're supposed to do. On top of that, this is our main core project, and after that, we can do other things. What we've done so far is we helped incorporate GATRA, make it branch out more.
We're talking about the the roles of the, oh, okay, the roles,
Do you have that?
position roles, right? And
Right.
responsibilities.
We first showed with the commission, this is responsible.
That's-
Can I just ask what you read? You said it's from the governor's office. but
It's on the website.
Yeah, that's the website.
It's our
A mission statement.
It's on the
Yeah, the
official
governor's
page.
It's a mission statement that you said the word governor saying the law is what we're supposed to do.
It's a little different.
You wrote out.
But it's,
It's taking 7 pages and shrinking it down to about a nice juicy mission statement.
Right, yeah, it's from 12 on. It's,
So it's, no, it's a mission statement. So, yeah, no, you can go in, John, if you want to talk. I mean, we really should talk about the, I think,
roles, not.
I think the point of it before we hold the elections was the roles of the individual officers.
Do you need this?
here. But I definitely
This is
want to
the
give
roles?
you know, you should definitely learn the history of what Scituate has been doing for, God, it was here before me, so, yeah, 20-something years, I think it's been around. It's been around since the late 80s.
86,
Yeah. So
86.
It's been, Scituate Commission's been active for that long.
So, moving forward, we need to go into the roles and responsibilities of the offices, not ERS, that we're going to be voting on.
Okay, the chair shall be elected annually at the first board meeting following an annual appointment or as soon as particular thereof. And you want to get appointees. John, there's still more appointees. Are more coming in or what?
No, we're not.
A chair may be moved by majority vote of the board committee at any time. An immediate past chair shall preside as chairperson pre-term until the chair is elected.
Just for clarification, can I ask what you're reading?
This is from our, the
Yeah,
booklet
so
that
that's for all
everybody
boards, right?
has.
That's all.
That's for all boards, right?
Right.
Can we kind of just narrow the focus down rather than from all boards to the Commission on Disability Boards? Which would be good, because, I mean, it's good, but Commission,
Preside at all meetings of the board and committee and start all meetings and hearings on time. In doing so, he or she shall maintain order in the meeting room. Recognize speakers, call for votes, and preside over decision of agenda items and hearings. Be circumspect in following each member to present his or her views while tactfully preventing any member from monopolizing the meeting in a discussion. Be familiar with parliamentary procedures and to apply in public meetings operations. Provide time in his or her schedule to conduct the staff with the preparation of the agenda and meeting material. Provide leadership that brings individual board members together as an effective policy-making body. Sign official documents that require the signature of the chair. Call special meetings according to the open meeting law. Affiliate with staff orientation of new members. Represent the board or committee as meetings, conferences, and other gatherings unless delegated by another board member. Serve as spokesperson of the board and committee and present in position unless otherwise determined or delegated by the chair. The chair shall have the same rights as other members of the other positions and resolutions to discuss questions and to vote thereon. Complete an annual appointment chair from attached and submit to the Selectman's office by early May 31st. Responsibility of the vice chair. The vice chair, if applicable, of the board or committee shall act in the place of the chair during his or her absence at meetings. Should the chair leave office, the vice chair shall assume the duties of the chair until the board committee elects a new chair. And I think that's it.
Does it have anything in there for the clerk or
For
the web
secretary?
editor? I thought it did.
Something on the state committee about the secretary and the treasurer.
yeah, so from MOD, they've developed, obviously, and I think you probably have all seen it, but they've developed an overview of the laws that are applicable to commissions on disabilities, as well as the sample operating bylaws, which I know we're not addressing that tonight. And then they provide an article of officers here, so, and they actually describe
Did they go
the
beyond the
role
vice chair?
specific for, yeah, so.
Okay.
So just for, not that the Scituate Employee Handbook is wrong, but it's more generalized for all boards, that's.
Right,
Yes.
right, okay.
Very generous.
So for real specific duties related to officers for commissions on disabilities, would be the chairperson shall develop the agenda in coordination with other officers, preside over all meetings, appoint subcommittees as needed, and authorize expenditures as needed.
Can you send me that?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm moving
Okay.
through it now.
No, it's on MOD's website, but I have like 4 copies, I think.
Well, I mean, if I just know where it came from, I can find it.
Oh, yeah, and it's on their website. Yeah, I'll get one to John. I have one.
That's what he's reading. Page 4.
Page 4.
Anybody want this?
So the vice chair would perform all the functions of the chairperson in his or her absence. So basically, that's the duty there. The secretary goes into that of keeping records of all meetings, attendance, minutes, and correspondence, post notice of all meetings 48 hours in applicable.
It's got to be more than 48 here.
Yeah, Kathleen, I think
3 days here.
yeah, it was 72 hours in Scituate. Before each meeting at City and Town Clerk's office, send notice of meetings and minutes prior to the meeting to members at least 14 days prior to the meeting. The treasurer shall keep records of all financial matters, develop a budget in coordination with the commission, and prepare a financial statement for inclusion in the annual report. So it does dive down into the 4 main categories. I think that's all we have. Right? The chair, vice, treasurer, and secretary.
Jeff, it says here that meetings are a quorum of 4. Is that, I mean, that's
Well,
what
that's
we
based
have
off the
because we're
7. Yeah, it's based off the 7-member.
7-member board is 4.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I mean, that can range from 5 to 9. Or now
Up to
5
13.
Yeah.
What?
The 13, we have 13 members if you want.
Commissions in July, the state in July, legislature upped the number. That you can have up to 13 members.
Right.
And I know in Scituate with getting volunteers, although this is one of the larger commissions we've always had trouble getting members to
Right.
serve. So
But
I'm not sure we would want
the
to-
regulation is that it has to be
no,
50% of the membership.
no less than 5, no more than 13. And of the actual membership, there are numbers there of the 50% or majority.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
majority.
quorum, it needs to be 50%
Oh,
of the
of
member.
the number, yes, correct.
Thank you.
Sorry. So,
Okay.
But we can have up to 13 members, correct?
we'd have
But
to-
we only have, but we have 7, John.
Yeah.
Right. The complication with that is we would need to see what Scituate actually adopted as a bylaw, because if it's actually a finite number, we
Right now
need
it's
to-
9.
We may need to re-adopt the number to have that fluctuation of 5 to 13, but
Last I looked, it was 9. It was still 9.
yeah, it's probably 9. But we are, so we just have to look at that, but, and then follow the procedures appropriately there. But so those are the roles, and they're complicated. You know, but when we, or other discussion times, or the read here is some of the, which I think John might have been referencing, is there's a list of 10 kind of common goals commissions on disabilities take on. And so here's where the uniqueness of each commission comes into play, because you've got, number one, it's a group of volunteers that are serving. So you may not have people with expertise in every single one of these sections. So for example, education, which can be an animal amongst itself when you're looking at disability-related stuff. If a commission weren't to have that expertise, well, they just need to know where they could refer it onto or how to notify their appointing authority of what the concerns are, and then move it forward to the appropriate referral. You know, if they happen to have expertise in building code, then it can be just another asset they bring to the table here and can be discussed in a little bit more detail rather than just referring. It can be something they can dive into if that's what they choose, what the members choose to dive into. So it's just, it's a good, nice overarching document that was provided by the state with the roles and duties of each commission member.
Great, thank you.
So, are we set with the roles and responsibilities?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay. The next,
Does anybody want to incorporate a new role or position in the offices?
a new what?
In some cases, they have technical assistants, other cases, they have co-chairs, vice chairs, and so on.
I think we'll keep.
My
vice chair.
vote would be just leave it where we are. We have enough trouble with that.
All in favor of that?
Of what?
Okay.
Leave the roles as but leave the positions, so,
4 positions.
yeah, 4 positions.
Right.
Do we need to vote on it if we're not changing? Just out of curiosity, because no one seconded it, so I was just, did it?
What?
Nobody seconded that.
I want to see if
motion,
anyone
but
wanted
we
to make
need
it,
to
if anybody want to
vote if
have
we're not changing it.
co-chairs or technical assistants, like someone trained in certain areas to cover
No,
things.
no, I got that, I got that part. I just wasn't sure if, since we weren't going to change it, do we want to take an official vote on it? But we can do that. Okay. All right. So, well, it needs to be seconded, so.
Oh, no, I don't second it, I'm sorry.
What if the motion is, did you make a motion?
That was just a
Motion was,
a
if
question.
you
that
wanted to
anybody
have
want
it where we're going to have
It wasn't really a motion.
co-chairs, or you want to have, like, for example, a technical person, because sometimes in daytime,
Well, John was just asking if you wanted to vote on it.
example,
which
with
is
CAM
why
training, to go out and
I
see
didn't know if it
things.
was a
We
motion.
need that.
Sorry.
We'll do it one at a time, but let me make sure I just encapsulate this, John, correctly. One, you wanted to see if another position, another officer position wanted to be created.
Yes,
Then people were kind of like, let's keep it the same.
okay.
And then he called for a vote, and that's what kind of threw me into the, we need to have a second and actually.
Now, I asked
motion.
if you wanted to also have a technical position, where some people, like you said before, trained in certain areas, would cover that, like building codes and so on, and blueprint writing and so on.
And from what I can tell, I don't know if anybody wants to change any of the officers at this point, but if you do,
The titles, you mean,
well, to add other positions.
Like maybe a technical assistant, like, you know how you and I go out and do the open space things and so on?
But that's not really part of the officer's role, right?
Well, it could be technical guys that support, instead of having other people go, it's not trained or certified in the areas.
Okay, but that would be adding a position?
Yeah, and that would make it easier if you want to get refunded for going to education or training courses. It makes it easier. You see the need?
Well, if it's going to help us get grants and more funding, then yeah,
Yes,
there's
that's
a
the
need.
That's the need, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So you're proposing to add a position
Yes, like a
that
technical,
would be what?
technical people who were trained in CAM training and to
What would
get,
you call the position?
we call it,
Please don't draw CAM training into it.
Oh, yeah.
That's a certificate, that's not even a certification course, it's a course completion course that MOD offers. It's in fact not actually to be used, it's as an employment, I think, this is an employment. But
what?
CAM training is a course completion, there's no certification there. So when you're saying you're CAM certified, there's nothing actually that exists that says that. You've taken the CAM training and
I got a piece of paper.
You definitely,
It
yeah,
says
it's a
I'm
course
certified.
completed.
Yeah.
It says course completed.
It says CAM certified.
No, it says you successfully completed the community access monitor training held on X date, and basically thank you. So yes,
Well, it's
I
also-
know it's on the CAM, the CAM.
It's also transition plan and DOT training and so on, and
So,
disability law center
there's 4
training.
positions now. I guess your motion is, do people want to add technical
And
assistance?
what would the
Well, you know what?
additional position,
When we go to things like MOD for the transition plan, we go to CAM training, when I go to Massachusetts disability law, they train us to go back.
right, but
For a technical person, so we can get the grants and funds that we can need to,
what would that person be called? I mean, you know,
a technical assistant that goes out and gets trained. They can bring back to the meeting like I'm doing all along.
And how does that impact grants?
And do you need a position?
When I was
necessarily
getting the
to-
training in MOD, I could qualify, was coming down, but there were grants up to $20 million that are available in the state they can go for.
I'm sorry. You just said MOD offering $20 million.
No, an MOD, in regards to DOT.
DOT is, okay, very good. So make sure.
And they have prerequisites, they want to be, what area you're in, disability and so on, what you went through, and that's how grants
do
go.
we need an office
Well, it's harder to get things going because it's
to be able to, I mean,
I
can we
think
not
not.
utilize a person who is trained in that area to go ahead and do this and not create a new office?
The board can direct somebody or ask if somebody would facilitate.
Or someone might volunteer
Right.
to go and be
Exactly.
certified and trained.
So I don't know if we need an official decision, but if you want to make an motion, we can go back.
Well, see, as I was doing it, the more I do, the more criteria it gets, the more benefits you put in the pool.
Right.
That's why I want to make sure I was there.
So,
So, motion for a technical position?
Motion what?
I'm making a motion for a technical position to be trained and certified with the state with MOD issues and disability law center issues and so on.
Okay.
That way we have credibility when we talk to other departments, and where you get the information and so on.
Does anybody second?
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Opposed, carries.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got it. 5 to 2, okay?
Okay, now, election reorganization.
All right, now this is, go back to 2 months ago.
Okay. Now officially, are there any nominations for treasurer?
What?
We discussed it.
He doesn't want to do the chair first.
He what?
He doesn't want to do the chair.
Usually from the bottom up.
You're gonna do it from the bottom up?
Yes.
Well, can we just open it to the floor?
The bottom first, yes.
Can we just open it to the, bottom up doesn't sound good. Can we just open it to the floor and let
The floor decide.
the floor nominate as they wish?
I nominate Megan Summer as chairperson of the Disabilities Commission.
Second.
Who seconded? I'm sorry, okay.
Are there any other nominations for chairperson?
What?
Are there any other nominations for chairperson?
No.
You can nominate yourself. I mean, according to Robert's rules, you can
Something
nominate
preventing
yourself.
No.
Okay.
All opposed?
Oh, wait. Did you call a vote?
We said no going further, so now we're at the vote, aren't we?
All right, all I heard was the motion made. You can make a motion if you'd like. I didn't hear the all in favor part.
And I said, no, I'm not nominating myself.
Okay, all right.
So,
So the nomination is for Michelle.
Right.
Seconded by...
right, I got
Megan,
that.
sorry, seconded by Michelle.
Yeah,
Okay, so, okay.
the vote is,
I don't know, is he vote, did you call a vote?
I'm calling. You
Okay.
call a vote.
All in favor? All opposed?
Okay?
Open for the, who wants to have the next position?
So, do we want to finish the elections before we
Yeah.
transfer responsibilities to Megan?
We have to.
You gotta finish this whole meeting.
He continues for the rest of the meeting.
No, he
Actually,
doesn't.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't. When the Board of Selectmen select a new chair, that chairperson assumes responsibility right away at the meeting.
Well, let's finish the elections first, and we'll get
Thank
into
you.
that discussion. So, I agree. I'll make a motion to have Michelle as the vice chair.
I second it.
Athena, you seconded it.
All in favor? All opposed?
Okay.
Secretary position,
What?
the secretary's position.
I move to appoint Jeff Dugan as the secretary.
I'll second.
I make a motion for Lane to appoint secretary.
So there's two motions out there. Let's see.
Do we have seconds for anything here?
I seconded. for
Second,
Jeff.
Jeff. Need a second for Lane.
Okay, let's vote. I can't wait to get rid of it. That means you have to get the key for every meeting, and you have to get the web design stuff going.
You can't be late. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you call a vote?
Yes, I did. So you're the only one that got seconded.
You got seconded, right? So now,
All in favor?
What?
All in favor? So I don't vote, yeah.
Jeff.
I don't vote for Jeff, so I'm in favor. I
Favor for
voted.
Jeff, okay.
So we got 1, 2, 3, 5 in favor for Jeff. All opposed?
Let's make it across the board.
Okay. Treasurer.
I nominate Athena if you want to remain. So, not sure, we'll do the full vote, so.
What?
I'm nominating Athena to remain as the...
You're nominating Athena, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
You need to
it's fine.
speak up.
I just want to make sure she actually still wanted to be the treasurer before I nominated. Okay, all right.
Anybody else want to be treasurer? No nominations? Anybody got a second, Athena?
I'll second.
All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 5. Opposed?
You're opposed. I voted for it.
Okay.
Okay, we have a new board.
And it now transfers to since we are
Well,
now...
excuse me, this is kind of weird. The agenda's been posted. So now you're saying you can't go by the agenda?
No, we can go by the agenda.
All right, just making sure.
The chair's here. No, no,
We
I'm
have-
saying-
The new chair does.
We've gone by the agenda.
Okay.
yeah.
Right,
I'm making sure.
Just going on that. What I was going to ask the chair was, since we are now running up on 8:30, item 4 for old business, I really, at some point, I think the commission needs to look at all of these items here and clean out this agenda for items that have been sitting there for a long time, which is actually a larger discussion about procedures, policies, mission, all that stuff I think we need to have for next month. But at this point, and with the exception of the forum and the access and functional needs stuff,
The forum and what?
in the access and functional needs document that we're working
Okay,
on,
okay.
because those are kind of pressing, we need to get
Yes,
moving on those.
yeah.
I kind of want a motion to really put a hold on the old business
Can we move to
section.
just
Can I-
deal with the forum and the functional needs assessment
Yeah,
tonight?
on item 4, under item 4, I just want to table 4A, B, C, F, and G.
I second.
4A has got a lot of progress, though.
Do you want to table
Just because it's,
all of them, right?
well, no, except for D and E,
The
because I think we need to really close up the forum stuff, which is going to take some time to get that going in the access and functional needs forum, because that, again, we're trying to close that out.
So that's D and E. So you want to,
Table A, B, C, F, and G.
okay, I'm sorry, I was going with the little letters. A, B, C.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. No,
Okay,
yeah, no,
all
that's-
right, gotcha. So you want to table,
All items,
All
all items
except-
under section 4, with the exception of D and E.
except D and E,
Correct.
okay?
I seconded it.
Okay. We skipped and wasn't posted the treasury
Athena, you
report.
just seconded it?
I
Okay.
seconded it. Yeah.
All in favor?
Okay. John, how did you vote?
All opposed?
I voted, okay, we'll go.
You
I voted
voted
for it, yeah.
in favor, so it's unanimous,
Yep.
okay.
Okay, before we go any further, it's not posted here, the treasurer's report. We're going to have that on. That should be posted, but it's not.
So we
We can put that on for new business the next one.
Well, that should be an ongoing
Should be an ongoing thing. We usually have an ongoing at our regular meetings.
discussion. I mean, report or something, whatever.
Well, especially because people want to know where the money is, you have it more like before.
But it's not on here right now, correct?
No.
So it should be added to these.
So we'll add it to the agenda for next month. So hosting a forum.
That, we're making great progress. I actually brought, let's see, somebody you probably haven't seen it. I had a whole bunch that I printed out, but I think I left something in the car.
Did you make the changes? The
No,
additions?
not yet, not yet.
Thank you.
So,
We've got a few new
right.
vendors there, but you didn't get a chance to put them on here.
So basically, you know, it's Saturday, November 4th. Are you familiar with it?
Athena, yeah, just be-
Accessibility awareness event, and it's going to go into the paper, and then it'll be on the town website. And we basically have about 20 vendors. So it's the Scituate Fire Department, Scituate Town Health Services, the town clerk voting, we'll be going over the absentee ballot, Scituate Town Library, Council on Aging, Etrusco Associates, Special Ed Department, the Course Foundation, South Shore Arc, Road to Responsibility, South Shore Elder Services, Scituate Coastal Coalition to go over emergency services in a storm, Mass Department of Disabilities, Mass Commission for the Blind, Mass Commission for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, the Mass Equipment Distribution Program, the MS Society, Scituate Cohasset Newcomers Club, GATRA, And then we've also just added independent associates, friends of the Commission on Disabilities, and we're looking into launch. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yes, it's in Hingham.
I thought the same thing, but it's actually, what is it, Athena?
It's Quincy, there's a Hingham one, but there's...
There's a Cohasset one too.
Yeah, there are two different things, and there's a woman here in Scituate whose daughter is, whose name is also Athena. I got in touch with this woman because she knows about it, so I'm trying to get her contact information
Okay.
so I can
Okay.
get them to be there.
Okay. And I'm going to contact the Talking Information Center. I haven't done that yet, but to get them involved
Right,
because...
yes, you were going to do that, right.
Yeah, I haven't called them yet, but they have phenomenal programs for people with disabilities, so they can just listen to the reading of a newspaper, or the reading of a book, the reading of...
That would be great.
It's fantastic service that they have. So I will do that. I haven't done it yet. Huh?
Give them the date. Give them the date.
I will. And we don't want them to speak, we just want them to be there
Be there with
to
information.
present information.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
I got that, I just haven't made the phone call yet.
Good.
Okay, and now I'm working on getting food vendors there to donate, Stop and Shop, Shaw's, Starbucks, and Dunkin' Donuts, to have some, items for kids and obviously for the general public.
Cool.
So are these presenters? Are they doing
We're gonna have,
presentations?
we're gonna have tables set up around, it's at the community building in the harbor, and all the tables set up where they'll have brochures, and then people can go around and talk to the different representatives from each agency. And then we are gonna have a couple speakers, Chief Murphy.
Hopefully Chief Murphy. And what we're hoping is to have that functional needs assessment done by then, that he has it in hand so he can talk about it at the forum. So we're going to put a rush on getting everything.
As soon as we approve it here, I'm handing it to John.
Right, so, yeah.
So he can go to
So
legal
the
counsel.
fire's under you now when you get it, to get it to legal.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like what on a very small scale, what the Abilities Expo did. People walk around to the vendors, there'll be like 1 or 2 presenters, or 1 presenter maybe.
And
to kick
I
off
know
that.
Kathleen Curran might talk about voter registration and absentee ballots.
So will you publish a schedule of those people that might present?
Well, it's only going to be, they're only going to talk
Probably
for
just
3 hours, probably 12 o'clock and 12.
But they'll probably just talk very
12 to
briefly,
1,
but
that's
yeah,
it.
once before then. But I mean, we're trying to make it casual so people are comfortable and,
Yeah.
good for networking and maybe, families can meet other families that, to match up with their kids and stuff like that. And I've talked to a couple yoga instructors that work with children, will come and we'll do something fun with the kids. And then the Scituate High School, their community service hours that the students need, they're going to come and do face painting and some different things to keep
And help
kids
set up.
safe. Yeah,
Set up and close up.
That's great.
yeah.
So at this point, what is, I guess, outstanding that we need to get done in order to make this happen? I mean, I'm assuming everybody here has been...
Everybody
here
has
has agreed to it,
confirmed,
which is
yeah.
awesome.
Except those 3, but we can always add it if we need to let the paper know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we as members need to help you with
No.
getting this?
Do you need money for advertising the paper at all? No.
No, because it's free, because it's an event. Yeah, so,
Better.
yeah.
So if you can think
So it's
about,
not costing any money.
no, but if you can think about maybe reaching out for food or the one group I did want to get involved, and I don't know if I have it here, but I do. I would like to have these File of Lives that we talked about, and I know Council on Aging, and that you did all the trainings, John, but we've never given them to people. I would like to have a bunch of them out for people, and to have someone there to explain it, because, I mean, even, the nurse handed me one, the town nurse, she's going to be there, she handed me one when she met me.
Right.
This is something I think we should have there.
So what we should really check with is Chief Murphy or with the fire
Right.
or police department to make sure that, and I think all first responders are trained to look for those anyways.
Okay.
Yes.
It's just a matter of, we may have a stockpile somewhere, like the Council on Aging may have 1,000 that they bought, because you gotta buy them.
You do?
You do. They're
Yes.
like $2 a piece roughly with the magnet and all that stuff, which I
Okay.
love the program. It is such a great
Okay.
thing. I think everyone should have one. They should have a wallet one. They should have all kinds of things.
Well, it's all in there. There's a sticker to the door, there's a magnet for the refrigerator, there's a prescription card to keep in your
Right.
own personal wallet.
The concern is we may have a stockpile, so we may not have to buy any.
All right, so,
But the other part is if we do have to buy them, we may not have time to get them.
We don't have to buy them, we have them.
well, I'll...
COA has them, right?
I'll find
No,
out.
I think, Athena, you got them, didn't you?
Oh, I only got like 10. They sent them to me for free.
10?
They sent them to me for free.
Well, I know, but 10 is nothing.
Well, I didn't offer to pay.
Okay, okay.
So just check with the...
Well, I'll check with...
Check with the fire department too, because they had them.
They may have them.
I'll reach out to Chief Murphy and ask him when we get the okay from the legal department. Thank you.
Will that take a long time?
You'll have it next time, next meeting.
Pardon?
Okay, you want to pass it down?
Sure.
You're looking for that form, right?
Right, the form, but it won't take long to get through legal,
Well,
right?
maybe a little bit.
Okay.
We'll see.
You'll have it the next meeting.
Pardon?
You'll have it the next meeting.
What?
We'll
Is it
have
Commission on
one, it's all the
Disability
same?
will have it the next
Just
meeting.
copies of
because
one
it's
thing?
been
Yes,
going on
same
for 3
thing.
months.
We have two accounts.
Okay, thank you.
So we'll share.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
The
No, there's plenty of copies.
long
There's
as
plenty.
they had-
Oh, you have,
This is the budget.
so with that, is there anything else we can do? Obviously, you'll check with the file, all that stuff. See if
Right, I'll check with Chief Murphy and,
And just curious, did you have DPW, Michelle, listed? You might want to have somebody representative.
Oh, we also have,
Public Works. Police Department, are they involved?
where's
Yes.
Catherine?
Situate Police and the Situate Fire Department.
What's Kevin Cassidy?
He's DPW.
DPW.
DPW, they are coming.
And then the other one might be the building department.
They,
Might be open
yes,
to-
they are too.
Okay, they
Is
are.
that Bob Bogle?
Yes.
Yes, Bob, yes, they're coming.
And day of, you need help, I remember too.
Yeah, so and obviously if everyone can
If
be there.
we can all be there, that would be nice. Yes,
Guess I can't argue. I don't live here. I'm not sure.
no, that would be nice to make
We'll be
a
early.
presence. But if people know of any donors that might want to donate food or little treats like, we're going to have to probably buy the paints for the kids to have face painting.
Right.
If people want to donate something, if you talk with your,
So-
let me know.
Can I ask, what is, I guess that would lead into the financial report, what is the actual budget of the fines that we have? 'Cause since this is outreach to the community, this is a perfect use of the expense to donate some money towards the cause to help with the face painting and all that stuff.
Right, it's $3,353.61. We would have to get permission, and I can reach out to the treasurer and see if they'd be willing to give us some money if we need it.
Right.
I don't know if we need it.
Right.
We've got to
I'm
vote on it
hoping-
first.
and Mike, excuse me?
We'd have to vote on the money before you just openly spend it. You have to earmark some money first.
Right.
Understood. I'm just
Understood.
thinking of the possibility.
Okay.
Right, and so,
So if somebody were to purchase the paints, we could, if there was a vote, there could be a work for reimbursement to that? If that
that's what I will talk to him about. And the thing is, I know that money, what I had been told always was that money is only to be used for disabled people. And this is an accessibility awareness event, and it's open to all residents. So if what I was told is true, I'd have to make the argument to treasurers that really this is.
Yeah, the 22G language is, it's to be used solely for the benefit of persons with disabilities. A commission holding a disability-related event with all of these vendors in one spot at one point for 3 hours or 4 hours, that's a good use of the funds.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, no, I'm just, we see the people to come, but
Yes.
I think it's a very good educational experience.
I think it's great. And people, the parents that I've spoken to are very excited about it because the kids, they're excited.
Would you need things like plates and cups and napkins, or would that be for?
I'm going to try to get just Shaw's and Supermarket to donate that too.
Okay.
And water, we said water.
And water bottles, yeah.
There's one more question.
One more thought. Have you been in touch with Scituate Housing Authority, Kathy DeMarsh? Just as another option, maybe to see.
To have
You know, have somebody
Oh,
from
okay.
housing there.
And what is that? I'm sorry, what is it?
Kathy DeMarsh, she's the director of the Scituate
Kathy
Housing.
DeMarsh.
Yeah, of the Scituate Housing Authority. Just reaching out, certainly spreading information amongst the residents, but also maybe there's some component there.
Thank you.
So related to that, I know there's questions we have to deal with the treasurer, not the treasurer, the accountant, the Scituate treasurer, whoever you do the job.
Nancy Wall. Yeah.
I'd like to just, as a preliminary, can we make a motion that we earmark no more than $500 to be spent on supplies for the event? That way we can get it moving and get things in place, so you're not waiting 6 months.
Didn't we want to make 250?
Second?
All in favor? Opposed? That, I think it's gonna be a great event.
Yeah.
Really, yeah, you guys will be really, it's gonna be wonderful things.
The weather's good. It doesn't really matter in November.
The community center.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful view.
And we'll get them to clean up the smells over there.
Okay, and then, so next we have revised assessment form for accessibility and functional status.
I printed out some copies. Although I didn't print as many as John had printed, so I apologize. I have 5. But I thought it was pretty good. I think we're ready to roll on it.
I
Yeah,
did.
you're counting. There you go.
I don't know that
Do you have a
there's,
copy?
I do.
You do. Thank you.
I have,
does anybody have any corrections, additions, or amendments? If you do, I'm going to walk out the door right now.
So I don't have any changes to it. The only thing I think at the end of the day, at some point, we'll want to put it into a format that meets what they need, like as in.
I believe the fire department should be able to do that.
I agree.
Agreed.
Not us, not
That's
us.
not us.
Agreed. No, this
Okay,
is just a
thank you.
template kind of showing.
Right.
A proof of concept.
Right.
Proof of concept. All
Right,
right.
they need to decide what they want to do.
Yeah, no, definitely. But
Now, have you decided if you're going to mail it out or how that's going to happen, or what?
No, we're going to send it to John, who's going to send it to legal counsel. And then, once they approve it, we're going to give it to the fire chief.
And then he does what he wants to do.
Right.
If he has to put it a certain way into the computer, then that's what he's
Right.
responsible for doing.
Yeah.
Or his people.
So,
Take care.
Who wants to make that motion?
okay. I just wanted to give Linda a chance to.
Oh, I'm sorry,
I
okay.
think it's my
I
first
looked
time
at it.
seeing- Okay.
You did, because I sent it out.
You did send it to
Okay.
me, yeah.
So I will make a motion to accept the
Second.
access. Wait, let me finish my.
Number 4.
Yeah, motion to accept it and move it along the process to get it approved, so
Okay.
whatever that might entail.
All in favor?
Can I raise both of them?
You get a double vote. Thank you, by the way, for your hard work on putting this together. Tina and Elaine, I think you guys did a lot of work on this, so. It, it's going to be a help from what we had, which was what, a quarter?
0.
Which was, well, it was a quarter of a page, I think, right? The old.
With,
Oh, it was left as, yeah.
yeah, yes, not good, yeah.
So that goes in
Email,
business.
email this to you is fine?
Absolutely.
To your, not here account, right?
Just my office.
All right, okay, okay. I'll try to do it tonight because I want it gone. What are you doing now?
I could send it to me right now.
Oh, good, go for it.
No.
Athena's sending it to you right now. She hasn't found it yet, though.
So we're, oh, sorry. You're moving on, sorry. And we're moving on to new business, is that right?
Yes.
Where are we now?
New business?
New? And that's,
Well, I know. So the goal is at least a goal we should have. I know we like to go to 10 o'clock. I know that.
No, we don't. Never have.
The meetings I've attended, we've gone to pretty much 10, or I know we've gone to pretty late, 9:30, 10 o'clock. So I'd like to see if we can start thinking about aiming for a 9 o'clock ending period, just because people, this is a lot of work there, which I do want to get on to adding items to the agenda for next month, but obviously, how long do you think the new business stuff, because I think all of this stuff has been added by you, John, right?
Well, the major site plan, of course, last time, we were supposed to get a review for it, and they wanted someone to go with me, we haven't yet. I don't know, John, has the town voted on the restaurant in Article 2? Did they accept the plans already?
The Jenkins part, is that what you're
No,
talking
in
about?
regards to the restaurant in Article 2, have you already voted on the plan? 'Cause it's been 2 months.
John, I'm on the Board of Selectmen, I'm not with the Planning Board. The Article 2 is before the Planning Board at this time. I have not seen or heard anything other than that at the Planning Board. They only came to the Selectmen for a liquor license. That has not been voted on.
Okay. So we still have time to review this.
New restaurant that wants to come in
They
town?
wanted parking lots and parking spots evaluated and the entranceway in the back.
So I guess the question
We can still do it.
Who's reviewing it, and why?
It was given to the Commission of Disabilities.
Right, has
Yes.
the commission decided to review it?
We did the last time we had it, when it came aboard here, 2 months ago.
When was it, what agenda was that on? You know?
When I got it 2 months ago, I mentioned it.
It's been on the agenda for a while. Yep,
I don't.
we just didn't get to it.
I'm just looking at the,
It must have come up.
looking at the July meeting, I don't see it on the July meetings one.
It was in the August meeting.
So what, I guess, John, how is this, sorry. If I can have
Sure.
the floor for a minute. Can I add why this was added to the,
Usually when new constructions are done, in most structures, buildings, they're recommended to go board, the Board of Commission Disabilities to review them, make sure they're ADA compliant. And we're asked to take a look at them.
so the commission was provided plans for Article 2?
Yep.
It was.
Yes, it was.
You have the plans?
They're in my car.
So we were asked by Article 2 to review plans.
We were asked by, I believe, the planning board.
Okay, so the planning board, forwarded on to us for review. All right.
Did they send a letter when they sent the plans?
Yes, I did. And I had the cover letter. I hope no one looked at it that
So you
day.
have that, but it's in the card.
Yeah. No one looked at it that day when I had them.
So maybe that's something we can review for next.
Yeah,
But they want us to look at it before we,
It sounds like they're not very far along in the process
Right,
anyway,
if
so.
they're still in front of the planning board and asking for plans from us, then, I'm hoping probably.
they're asking for our recommendations as to parking spots, where to be, if the doorway is probably most, ADA compliant, the gaps and so on, and the restrooms, and the walkway through the area.
So I think Megan's right, that we should, I guess, if the planning board has forwarded on to us, which is a process.
John, seems
Just a point of clarification, if there's a public hearing, before the planning board, they act and they refer things out to various departments and commissions and boards. That's time sensitive. They shouldn't be left in somebody's car. In other words, they should be disseminated to the commission so the commission can review them at its next meeting if it's a significant issue. So I'm just saying as a point, anything that comes in that's been referred to the commission, it should be disseminated to the full board. And that way everybody's aware of it, because the hearing may have happened. Last time that we heard about it was about a month and a half ago.
It was on the agenda for the August meeting.
When it came to the Board of Selectmen, it was told they were going to the planning board. The planning board, they must have gone in August, so right now there's a referral portion, so you probably need to take a look at that. It should be copied and sent to everybody, so everybody has a sense of what's going. You may be too late if the hearing's open. And if it's still open, you're fine. If it's been closed, I don't know.
Well, if it's been closed, just not to interrupt, but I think that if we do a cursory review of the plans, we can at least refer it on to the building commissioner that can then address it, and, who would really, the authority of it.
I'd say to the planner or the
Okay.
director of planning and development, Brad, that position, so then you'd have those comments sent to the planning board.
Yeah, that would
Makes sense.
If you remember,
Or the building commissioner, either way.
if you remember last month, I asked Maura this how sensitive it was, and she goes, they won't vote on it yet. I was talking about those plans then.
I don't actually remember that, but there was a lot going on last month, so.
Yeah. I don't think we talked about
We
this.
didn't talk about it. I told Maura, I said, we can't do the plans now, this is important. She said, no, everything's tabled to two things. When they only kept it to two things, I said, we really should talk about this, and they said, no, they wanted to adjourn. I mentioned that last meeting.
So John, or Megan, can we motion, or can I motion to have the commission do a cursory review of this with the plans for, it may not be to the planning board anymore because that might be a closed thing, but at the least of it, we can at least inform the select board / building inspector to let them know if we find anything that jumps out there. That's if the commission wants to take on a plan review.
Well, I think that's what we need to decide, because they asked us, but aren't there other the architectural board, aren't there other groups that actually, this is what they do?
Well, so this is where we get into the bigger umbrella.
Right.
We as a commission, what do we want to do?
What is
Do we
your
want to
role
offer plan
in this
review
endeavor?
for municipal properties only? Do we want to offer plan review for municipal and private companies? Because Nautical 2 is not a town-owned property, so nothing we can't. But there are others that can do that. But what I was really thinking was a 5 to 10 minute review of it, no more or less, and just see if there was anything that jumps out.
Something obvious, right?
That we should really call attention to. Now, we can, for this specific, because it's on the agenda, it's been sitting there, the planning board did send it to us, we can work out the deal we deal with the planning board on what they're going to forward to us as part of the process at a later date. But since this has been sitting here and it's maybe time sensitive, I say we do a cursory review, get our comments back to the appropriate entities that we need to, at least for this, and then a bigger discussion about our procedures at a later date.
Can I just add that, if we rely on the external boards, the Architectural Access Board, the state MOD, all of that, if the town could get into it beforehand and address anything that might be an issue, we wouldn't have to have the Architectural Access Board come in, or the MOD or DOJ or anything. If we, as the Commission on Disabilities, could look at this stuff in advance before an issue was found and say, this might be an issue, and then we wouldn't need all of the hearings and legal.
Exactly, because we're advisory.
Right, and that's part of our role, is to be advised.
Right. So I think it's a larger topic of conversation we'd have. So for the nautical one, I would say, I'll make a motion that we make a cursory review at the next meeting and supply comments appropriately to the appropriate entities that we need to, whether it be the planning board or building inspector, depending on the time of it.
All in favor? Any opposed?
And the plans will be distributed how and when?
Well, that's what, because are they
they're
large?
big.
No, it's only 2 pages.
Is it this size, or is it a
You get
large?
one cover sheet of this and 2 blueprint pages.
And in reality, we probably, since it's not the whole packet that they gave.
But I usually I get both.
We can probably cursor just look at it
Right on the table, okay.
Meeting, 5 or 10 minutes, hang it out, done.
Yeah.
Then we move on.
That's what I was trying to
Maybe
understand.
when people like to have the endorsement of this, like to say, oh, the CRD said that this is appropriate, and it helps things get, through other.
Maybe we need the second.
No,
Michelle. Thank you.
So if we're done with that, I would like to motion to table item 5B.
Actually, we'll rush for that because it's a new project.
It's in, some of the stuff is in, I think, litigation, so as a commissioner, I want nothing to do with
Well, I thought it'd be good for the coming firm to say we've done this and avoid process too and so on.
I think matters that are have pending litigation we should
Okay.
address.
I don't think we should be touching it.
Okay, so. Be a second. All in favor?
I'm sorry, what was the motion?
So we're tabling item B under new business.
Okay,
And I'm going to say indefinitely until such time as
Who was
it's settled.
1 and 2?
Jeff made the motion and Athena seconded.
Seconded. Because it's in litigation right now.
Okay.
No.
So.
Was it unanimous?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it was not. Oh, I'm sorry.
You didn't vote yet.
All in favor?
No, sorry.
Okay, opposed?
Okay.
Commission on Disabilities Acknowledgement and Achievement Awards? I don't know what that is.
I was trying to get something publicized where we thank people who've done good things in regards to Commission Millie, that stand out. For example, Dr. Gordon Price, in regards to Council of Aging, and at one time he had us review the building he's in, and he went above and beyond and made more recommendations than required for ADA compliance. He's one candidate I would recommend highly. The other one would be,
So, John, I think we need to get permission if we can start giving awards to people, which is fine.
Yep.
If that's something we want. I mean, other commissions have taken it on. It's,
I get that similar now,
yeah,
yes.
it can be a little difficult because we'll say they're accessible and then there's something that isn't and therefore it's not accessible. So I think it's a good idea. I think what we should do is run it by our appointing authority to see if that's something they would allow us to do.
If we choose to, run it by them,
I might also be a part of the broader discussion of
what we do. I don't know if that's our role. To single people out, it's enough.
Okay, so I don't think I have.
So I would move to take that off the new business.
Or is it
Take it,
something that we-
leave it on and address later for your
I don't know how
forum.
to word it, but to not address it now.
So address
The
it.
table.
The table.
Yeah.
You want to table until legal counsel looks into it?
No,
Can we
I
start this one?
Just when we
don't know, I
discuss
think
what
we
our
need,
roles and what our responsibilities and what
I
our
think
mission
we all as
is.
a board, as.
To decide if that's really something that the board really wants to get into.
Right.
So I'm sorry.
So table it,
All
okay.
in favor?
Okay, with table? On table, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
Opposed?
Who was the second?
I seconded it.
Thank you.
Okay, upcoming trainings and seminars.
There's an expo this Friday.
Disabilities Expo?
I am
Is that
looking
last
at it.
Friday?
No, it's this Friday.
Supposed to be, well, no, this is the first year Emily's not at the Disabilities Expo, so I was kind of happy because it's a Thursday, Friday, it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of gig,
Yeah.
and
The other thing's coming up is that you're involved in this,
oh, yeah.
and also Disability Law Center. I'll be on to that. And
Yeah, you can go.
But, yeah, no, there's no national one that's coming up I've already agreed to do, so. Thank you. Good work, so.
Oh, you're speaking.
Yeah, I'm still working on what I'm going to talk about, but Christine Griffin, she is.
she's fantastic.
Yeah, she's a great advocate for the Disability Law Center. She's the executive director number one, but she's a great advocate.
Great lawyer.
Not to knock another training, there's a West Bridgewater Community Access Monitor training in,
The 26th.
Wednesday and Thursday, 26th, 27th.
thank you.
26th and 27th
Yeah, it's Wednesday, Thursday, right? Or
Tuesday, Wednesday.
September,
at St. Anne's in West
Yeah.
Bridgewater.
yep.
It seems weird, but like the ones that are closed, like Rockland and so on, they tend to cancel. Do you have a good
No,
attendance there?
West Bridgewater, and in fact, that's actually, well, I know I mentioned it, but it's actually, the registration's closed.
Oh,
There-
fantastic.
I
It is
think we have
closed?
40 people signed up for
It
it.
is already closed.
Yeah, they're.
I teach CCD on Tuesday, I can't do it, so.
Potentially a good one, but, yeah, no, there's 40 people at this point, so it will be held, it won't be canceled.
So, potential pass and new regulations. I think we need to.
I think motion to table that.
Second. My second.
All in favor?
What was the motion?
Oh, sorry, motion to table, I'm
Table.
sorry, motion to table, I should be. a little-
Motion to table
Table number
that.
6.
That,
Number 6, yep.
okay.
Okay, and then so just, it's on here, chairperson's comments.
Just before you end there, I'd like to talk about potential items for the next agenda.
Okay.
But they can be after or before the chairperson's comments, so I don't want to jump the line before we get to it.
The one thing that I probably won't have comments at the meetings, I probably will just run the meeting, but one thing that I do want to mention now is that Article 3 under membership of the MOD, one thing that they do spell out is that for commission members, the members shall get the approval of the commission prior to making statements or joining activities on behalf of the commission. So when I was just reviewing this, because I was looking over like the roles of officers and whatnot, that just really stuck out to me as something that we haven't been doing, but that's really would be important to do. Just that we speak as a commission, that before we contact people or post things on
It's hard to make an
social
agenda.
media.
What if we-
That's where we have liaisons. We have liaisons to Notice on us, that's what we do.
So
Not really, that's not what it
So
is.
in reality, that topic is really what I was going to be adding to the agenda, is the policies, procedures, and how the commission coordinates.
I just wanted to get it on the record for this next, for going forward, from today forward. That's on the record.
What did
The
you,
motion is that you have to make a motion that contact is made, approved, it has to be approved, that contact is made with different groups.
Right, if I wanted to
Right.
contact Bob Vogel, if I wanted to contact somebody that's something that we agree to, that we as a commission agree,
Right.
what the issue is, so that we're all on the same page.
So you're
about
saying
it.
there should be a
That's
unified voice of the group?
But that would have to wait till another meeting. How are you going to do that without
Right,
making another meeting?
because we're not an
Takes forever.
emergency board, there's not anything that ever comes before.
so
the
if
board.
somebody contacts us, we can't respond to them until the next meeting.
I don't see that as our role.
Right, that's not,
It hadn't historically
Well,
been our
close-
role.
Excuse me?
Historically, that had not been our role.
So the
Well, we've
idea,
been doing that.
I
Right.
know.
Okay, so, you know,
and you're right, I think you're right, that when you are contacted,
right.
it really needs to come to the board as an agenda item, so the public has a chance to hear what the comments are and what the feedback will be and what the board is voting on. to
So
move
if they
forward.
want a response,
Yeah, it's not going to be an immediate response. I don't
Okay.
think it can be, but that's more of a topic for next month, so I think that's where we're going to get into how we want to act as a.
so
as a
we're
board.
not doing anything right now.
well, basically, I think that they're.
Well, what we voted on.
What did we vote on?
We voted on the forum stuff, which is moving
Well, yeah,
forward.
but-
We voted on the,
But Megan just brought up something else, so I'm wondering if that's been incorporated into a vote right now.
No, I just wanted it entered into the record, the meeting. the
So if
minutes.
someone asks us to look at something, we can't look at it if we're trained in that area?
Correct.
we shouldn't, it should be brought back to the commission for discussion.
If it's time sensitive, what if it's like a matter of like, open space? No?
There's the independent living centers that might be able to help, there's an MOD that might be able to help.
But, and then that's what we would.
That was mentioned before, but
There's an
if we
ADA
get
coordinator.
independent living involved, they investigate, put a complaint in, and it's fine, and they work on it. Is that the direction you want us to go?
Well, I think there's the direction that we need to go as a commission. We are a public entity. There's a slow wheel on
Yeah.
purpose. We can't be fast acting because we have to give the public time to, number one, show up on the agenda. Number two, hear what we're discussing
That's
before
what I'm
we're
saying, yeah,
reacting.
okay.
And then we also have to seek approval from our appointing authority before we can actually officially act on something. And once the approval's received, then we can act on it. So it's a
Well,
slow
how can we
process.
advise them if we don't know what we're looking at?
I don't know.
We're supposed to be advisory, so we have to at least look at something before we can advise. True?
Right, so what we used to do is we would come back as a commission, and then we would say, okay, who wants to make a site visit? And then there would be members, and if there were more than a quorum that wanted to make that site visit, then we would post that as a meeting, so that members of the public would be informed of that, and then we would go out as a commission to go out and do site visits.
Or we may.
We've done that
decide-
once. As far as I know, the people that were trained in CAM would go out and come back with the information, and we talk about it.
The few times that we did it, or when I was here previously, the few times we did it was Moss Station and then Greenbush. And I think
And
that
there's
was
some
public meeting, and
sidewalks
it was some sidewalk stuff. So I think this is a bigger discussion for what we want to start and the procedurals that we want to employ as a commission. And as a commission that should be at how the commission acts and proceeds and the procedures for it. So I don't want to dive too much into it because I want to actually have it as an agenda item.
So do you want a motion that we,
Discuss it?
no, that we'll put that on to discuss it, but right now, that as things stand, that if people come to ask someone as a Disabilities Commission member for advice, that the response should be, we'll bring that to the commission so that we can talk about it.
I think what we were talking was, we would discuss that at the next meeting, what our response would be, and that Megan just wanted it to be noted in the record
Right, I
that
don't
we
know.
would be talking about it next month.
Yep.
And as we move forward from this month to next month, that is the procedure that will be
Right.
employed.
That's what I-
That's what you're getting at.
That's what
That would be my hope, yes.
Yes. And I-
So you're making a motion that this will be the way we do it going forward without having a
No,
discussion
just
about it?
until the next meeting when we will discuss it. Well, until the next meeting when we actually have the discussion. Right now, put a hold on talking to the public and giving them advice so that when for example, I went to the Scituate Community Center and I I was at the handicap door and someone said, oh, John McLaughlin's going to fix that, he said. I said, oh, and I said, really? And she said, yeah, he's on the Disabilities Commission, he's the head of it, he's going to fix it. I said, oh, I didn't know about that. So before we make plans to do something, that we have it be an approved motion by the commission. That's my motion to.
So if I can change the pressure to a door to make it each one not the writers, I should wait a month till I talk to you people? I think that's
No,
wrong.
We're an advisory board. I know, like,
There's volunteer work and it's helping the community, guys, come on.
right, but we're...
If you're doing it as a member of the commission, that's a different role than
No,
volunteering on your own.
just because she said she knew where I was on a part of the committee, didn't say, I'm the commissioner's ability, I can fix this. She just let you know that I do things and I know the issues. You may have misinterpreted that.
Not really, but
Oh, definitely, really.
So commissions aren't the fixers, commissions are the advisors. That's what it comes down to. Commissions advise their appointing authority. So if the appointing authority doesn't know about the door that you just fixed to some town building, that's a break in the process. So we need to make sure we have that process so there's no breaks in the process. And yes, it is a slow process. It's what it is. If they want the door fixed, they've got other people they can go to. We are an advisory board that needs to follow the process appropriately. So, and I think that's the bigger discussion for next month, is the process and how we want to have it actually.
Yeah, what's the plan of action
Right.
here?
And what is the step? So when someone comes to you saying, oh, there's no ramp at X, Y, and Z, that there's a process for commission members, whoever it might be, to follow, to bring it back to the board, who then will have a process on acting on that and notifying the appropriate entity, most likely our appointing authority, to figure out the next steps. And then once approval from there, the next steps on how to do it.
So like the MOD grants, that you can get ramps and lifts and doors and so on before it expires in November to apply. I can't even say that?
First of all, MOD has notified many people about the program that's there, which if there was some sort of notification you wanted to forward on, which would be to the chairperson, which you were the chair, you can forward that on. I mean, that's to the appropriate authorities. I don't know. I think we need to have that discussion. I'm not the one that should be talking about how that would be handled, but.
Well, that's time sensitive.
Right, and Situate's been notified. I can attest to that. And Situate's been notified about the grants that are available.
And we can put it here on the agenda.
And we're just.
There's a procedure in place for.
So.
No, there's no procedure in place yet, you're trying to make one.
The motion on the table is that all items is to be brought before the COD before response. We're going to hold this in place for this month until October and have further discussion in October. And that was Megan and Athena.
Okay, so you made the motion.
No, Megan made it.
Megan made it.
Athena made it for the month.
Okay, so I'm going to count them as motion second, right?
That's fine.
I think. I mean, I'm a little less.
Okay.
I think it's more.
All right, all in favor? Opposed?
I oppose that one.
Okay.
So I would like to, and I don't know if we need motions for it to add items to the agenda, but I'd like to just add that, which I think you already have there, the COD role, procedures, community interaction, that kind of procedures to the agenda. Which I
you're
think,
doing the agenda.
I know, but I don't want to add items without approval.
All right.
On the
I thought
agenda,
anybody in the board can put new business on.
position, what do you, I don't.
Are you changing that?
Anybody from the community can, anybody from the board can.
So, no, I think you have what I wanted to actually add to the agenda as an item, which was the last sentence you had was to add that for further discussion.
Okay.
So that's where I wanted to have, that needs to show up on the agenda, but I just wanted to formally say that.
All right, so, but I'm not doing the agenda next month, so.
Right.
Okay, okay, all right.
So,
Have fun.
I would hope that, since I know you've been taking the minutes for this meeting, that you would at least finalize the minutes or give me the notes for the minutes that, for this.
As soon as possible, I'll get it.
It's just this 1 month.
Yeah, and then I'll take over the next one for the minute taking.
And the agenda, and that's all, I mean, that's all part of the secretary's role. so.
Right, no, definitely. But I'm just saying, I know you've been taking notes here for this one, so I'm hoping you'll be able to at least get me the notes for this meeting, because I know you've been playing that role.
When will do you know when the video will be ready?
Usually they're ready within 2 or 3 days. We're the boss, so anybody can do this.
That's a big 2.5 hours. No, really, only an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's it.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Well, I wanted to add a comment because of a request from Recreation and Park. They want to know if we can get some money. I know this sign is wrong because you can't have a seesaw because it's illegal. It's like a brown color, some signs, so they know.
I'm sorry.
For the new playground.
Is this on the agenda? Is this on?
It was going to be comments for new business.
So do you want to make an agenda, so something for next month?
Well,
So
it's
this
almost
is the
open
right
soon.
for
They're looking
signs?
for signs, and when we can fund the signs for them,
For the recreation department?
for the new playground. Have you gone to the meetings?
Yes, thank you.
So you know about this?
Joe, I'm just trying to figure out what was asked.
I was asked to see
Money for
if we
signs.
can donate money towards to have some signs made to go around the fence. I know this has to be brown because recreation, but you can't have a seesaw because that's not ADA compliant. Yeah, seesaws, that's what you can't seesaws. They have a cool thing, they have a thing like a spin-around thing where a wheelchair can go on it.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but I'm not saying seesaws aren't allowed, so I'm just curious why, like, I'm just, it's probably because it's getting late, so.
Because, Jeff, I network with all the town departments,
No,
and they hear
what I'm
this.
curious about is, what are you actually bringing to us? Do they want us to buy the signs, but not the green signs, but the brown
Can
signs?
we,
But not a
can we
seesaw, but a-
help give them funds for the sign, because that wasn't part of the budget?
So
But not
somebody
that
has
sign.
requested, who has requested, the recreation department?
When I was talking to them, I said, anything you might need back before the meeting, this was brought up. Okay? I think it's brought up about the marina. They want to see if we can talk to Mr. Moons, the harbor master, and get a lift of people in and out of the boat.
Okay,
Oh,
John
but
has
that's
something to
not-
say.
I would
John has something
suggest
to
get a
add.
formal request.
Yeah,
The
if
board
there's a
is
formal
requesting it, so that everybody has it.
Just because we're not.
So I would motion that whoever, since you were contacted, John, can you reach out to the individual who has made the request and have them submit
Sure.
something to us, either through email or in writing, requesting what they're looking for from us.
If they're looking for money.
So we can review it.
Yeah.
And we'll add it to the agenda. And you guys will get the agenda hopefully prior to when you post it. I'll give you some time frame before it's posted. That way you can add or subtract or make comments, and then I will post it appropriately. So if you get that.
Anybody go on this?
Well,
I asked me.
I'm sitting there, so.
Yeah, I'll be going there.
So that was a- is that a
Phone.
motion?
Motion to adjourn?
What's the next meeting?
October 13th.
Before we adjourn,
No, October 11th, sorry. This is the 13th.
So I know there's some sort of formula that we follow. Is it every?
Second Wednesday of the month at 7:30.
7:30.
And throughout the rest of this year, it's here. And
Okay, it's been set. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we make a reminder that repeats.
October 11th.
October 11th at 7:30. All right. Okay. Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Opposed?